Today we're going to be replacing both cylinder heads in this 2000 Chrysler 300M. The first thing we're going to do is disconnect the negative battery cable to 15. We're going to thread this nut on so we don't lose it, and it's just one less thing we have to keep track of. Next we're going to take this front radiator cross member off because we're going to get access to the cooling fan, and we're going to take that off next. So this guy's held in by a few of these little plastic pin things. Just take these and they come right out. There are a couple of those little plastic fasteners that we're missing, but this should now just come right off. And I'm going to put this with the clips that came off of it. Okay, here's that cross member I was referring to. It's held in by a bunch of 13s and 10s, and we have two 7mm holding this side of the headlight in. Okay, now we have some 10s holding this stuff on. One more 10 over here. Now we have the two 7s. Alright, next we're going to remove the hood latch so we can actually take the cross member off from the vehicle. Next we're going to remove the fasteners on the front here that hold this on. In this case I really only have one, the rest are missing, and it's this little plastic clip here that I'm just going to pry up with a screwdriver. Okay, so now this cross member should come off. Okay, so here we are under the car. I just jacked it up. We need to drain the cooling system. So we're on the right side, the passenger side of the car, and if we go up here, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a petcock underneath that line right there that we need to turn, and that will drain the cooling system. Okay, so I'm gonna reach up there, and don't use any tools to do this. Just use your hand. I'm going to reach up there and I'm going to turn the petcock to the left. And just make sure you have a catch pan ready. Okay, while that's draining, I'm going to start to remove this upper radiator hose. And hopefully enough is drained out, so when I remove this, it's not going to make a huge mess. Yep. Take this side off. Okay, next we are going to remove this radiator fan, and to do that there are 4 10s. There's one here, one down there, then on the right side we have one there, and then one right there. This little tool comes in handy a lot. I'm going to remove this little hose because it's getting in the way. Just put it to the side for now. we have an electrical connector right here to disconnect. There's a little lock right here. Let's pull that out. Let's stick a screwdriver in there and twist. Start pulling that out. There we go. Keep that in a safe spot. And this comes right out. Okay, so now this fan assembly should just come right out of there. The lower radiator fan is kind of getting in the way, but I think I've managed to get around it without having to take it off. Yep, there we go. Alright, so eventually I'm going to have to get this crank bolt off. And to do that I'm going to use my impact, but I cannot fit my impact in here. So I think I'm going to have to remove the radiator, move the condenser aside, maybe even take the bumper off so I can get my impact in there. Alright, next we're going to remove the drive belts. So I'm going to loosen this tensioner pulley here. I'm going to loosen this adjuster bolt back to it. This is a 15, this bolt looks like a 10. The 13, that was way off. There we go. There's one belt. Alright, to remove the second belt we have another tensioner pulley here. We'll loosen that, that's a 15 again. And then we're going to loosen the adjuster bolt behind it. This is actually easier to get from below. So 13. Now it should come right off. There we go. Now we're going to completely remove this tensioner pulley. Okay, so here's what I've decided to do with the crank bolt. Since I can't fit my impact in there and I don't have the special tool, I jammed the screwdriver in. Now I'm going to take a breaker bar and loosen the pulley like that. And that actually worked really well. Okay, next we need to remove the crankshaft pulley. Put a piece of cardboard here to protect the radiator. This is a Chrysler harmonic balancer puller. You can rent it at Pet Boys. It won't cost you anything when you return it. Make sure you get a puller that pulls on the inside of this crankshaft pulley and not one that pulls on the outside back here, because if you do that then you'll have a tendency to damage this pulley, and when it turns it will wobble like this and it tends to throw belts when it does that. So don't do that, get the right tool. So set it up on the pulley like this and we're just going to tighten it until it comes off. A little tip, this tool, all the 3 prongs won't go in correctly unless you have the crankshaft pulley in a certain position, because things are behind it. So I sort of put like 2 in at a time and then fit this guy in there to turn it a little bit more, turn the pulley a little bit more, and then I put the last one on. Yes, I should be using a wrench of the same size, but I don't have one. You can hear the comments now. There it is. Alright, so next we're going to take off the timing belt covers. We're also going to take off this little bracket here for the AC belt. Brackets are 13. All these others are 10s. We also have 110 holding in this bottom cover right here. There we go. Now we have this other cover over here. There are also 10s holding this on. Okay, so I plan on reusing this timing belt after this job, so I'm going to mark the belt running direction. The crankshaft spins counterclockwise, which means this turns in that direction. So now we're going to reattach the crankshaft pulley so we can rotate the engine and get it to top dead center. Okay, so now we need to remove the timing belt. I just threaded the bolt in on the crankshaft pulley in order to put it back on. So on each camshaft, you'll see those two little marks right here? This and this mark on the gear, mark on the gear needs to go between these two marks. And we have another one on the other side. See? Same sort of thing going on. We have two marks up here and then we have that timing mark there. Now on the crankshaft, we have another timing mark. You see right there where it says, that little pig says TDC, and it has a little arrow next to it. And if you look, there's a little extrusion coming out of the crankshaft pulley. That has to align with the TDC on the engine block. So we're going to do that now by rotating the engine counterclockwise. And I used the screwdriver method to tighten this the same way I did last time. Check our timing mark. Okay, so we're all lined up. Okay, now one thing to note is that while the crankshaft timing is exact in that it has a line-to-line matchup, the camshaft timing is not 100%. It just has to be between these two dots. But we're going to take a little paint pen here, and I'm going to mark where the line is exactly on the block. I'm going to do that for both sides so I can put it in the exact same spot. Okay, now I'm going to remove the crankshaft pulley again in the same way I did before. Alright, so I got to be really careful to not move this crankshaft pulley when I loosen the bolt. I think I got it. Okay, next we're going to remove this tensioner on the left hand side. The 13's holding it on. And we're going to store this in an upright position and not lay it sideways. Okay, so now we're going to remove the timing belt. So the service manual says that these bolts are about 10 inches long, and they probably are not going to come out without hitting the radiator. Also, it's not a really straight shot into this bolt, so I can't really get my impact on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath, loosen up the engine mounts, and we're going to use an engine bar to lift this up just a little bit. Okay, we're all set up here. Let's go underneath. So when we go over, we have two 15s on this side, on this cross member. And we also have two 15s on the other side, on the other cross member. You know, on second thought, I think I'm just going to use a jack underneath. I think that'll be easier. I'm going to put a block of wood on this to protect the oil pan. Alright, that should be enough. Alright, so I have a 1 7/16 wrench to hold this with. And then I'm going to loosen it with an impact. Finally. Now the left and the right camshaft sprocket are not interchangeable, so this is the left. Okay, now we do the same thing to the other side.